Watch last week's episode, you'll get it. Star Wars The Last Jedi is days away, and we're continuing this week with our second countdown on the controversial prequels. As I stated last week, there are a lot of things I don't like about the prequels. Most of my complaints aren't new, as these films have been subject to heavy criticism since they were released. But, like I mentioned, I do have a small attachment to these movies. I grew up with them since I was 10 years old, and they were everywhere. The excitement surrounding the release of Episode 1 is still something I remember pretty well. Toys, collectible Pepsi and Mountain Dew cans, and birthday party Darth Maul lightsaber fights are all things that I can still vividly recall. I liked the movies less and less as time went on, but there were some parts that positively stuck with me. A few glimmers of light in the dark void. What were they, and how did these moments stick out in an encouraging way? Let's find out. These are the top 5 best Star Wars prequel moments, from a certain point of view. Number 5. Showing off the full power of the future Empire here was kind of epic. From Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, the Grand Army of the Republic has finally been confirmed as thousands of clone soldiers militarize in front of Palpatine and a few others, showcasing just how much authority he now has in his secret conquest of the galaxy. What tied this all together was the Imperial March being played. While the prequels in general were subpar, John Williams' music continued to be one of the things we could latch onto as never dropping in quality. Hearing this theme blare as the future stormtroopers mobilized was a really strong moment. I do have to mention that having all the clone trooper costumes be completely computer generated was a ridiculous, distracting, and wasteful misstep. In this scene, however, it was obviously a necessity and didn't take away from the moment. It's one of only a few such moments that interested me in an otherwise pretty awful film. Number 4.
Qui-Gon always spoke very highly of you. I wish she were still alive. I could use his help right now.
Qui-Gon Jinn would never join you.
I always thought Ewan McGregor's Obi Wan was the most tolerable part of the prequels, and when they put him in a scene with Christopher Lee's Count Dooku, it actually turned out to be a pretty good exchange. From Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Obi Wan has been captured on Geonosis while trying to track down Jango Fett and is joined by Count Dooku, a leader in the Separatist Council. It's revealed here that Dooku was Qui-Gon Jinn's master in the Jedi arts as he tries to recruit Obi Wan to his cause. There's actual tangible tension in this scene concerning the memory of Qui-Gon and the true intentions of the Galactic Senate. I think it's by far the best moment in the movie and one of the best in the prequel trilogy. I would have loved to have gotten more of this type of character depth throughout the movies. We see Obi-Wan get upset at the suggestion his master would have joined the perceived bad guys at that point. We know Dooku was sort of trying to play him, but he did bring up some good points, which quality villains do.
What if I told you that the Republic was now under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith?
No, that's not possible. The Jedi would be aware of it.
The dark side of the Force has clouded their vision, my friend.
What would Qui-Gon have done in this situation? We know from Episode 1 he was kind of a rogue from the Council and didn't always play by their rules. If he knew the information Dooku told Obi-Wan about a Sith controlling the Senate, how would he have handled it? Would he have joined Dooku to fight this perceived evil, or would he have seen through his former master's trickery and form a third option? It's a great question to ask, and a scene that features some good acting from 2 decently strong characters in these 3 films. Did I mention I like Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan? Number 3.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them! Bring balance to the Force! Not leave it in darkness!
This was supposed to be the most emotional moment in the prequels, and at the very least, we can feel the pain on Obi-Wan's end. From Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin and Obi-Wan have just finished their historically significant battle, which leaves Skywalker maimed and full of hate. Obi Wan lets his emotions go as he berates Anakin for his betrayal. Instead of anger, sadness is the most prominent feeling here. We can see it written all over his face in a great performance by McGregor. Not only does he feel sadness for his friend and all the pain he's caused, but Obi-Wan blames himself for failing to stop Anakin's fall to the dark side. While it's hard to feel bad for Anakin, I always sympathize with Obi-Wan's position. He just had to pretty much kill his best friend, a person he's raised since he was a young boy. This was the deepest of betrayals, and that's all reflected in Obi-Wan's words.
You were my brother, Anakin! I loved you!
With Anakin finally off the deep end, Hayden Christensen got to let loose all the hate that had been building in his character since the previous movie. It's a very raw performance, and one that is passable in comparison to McGregor's. This legendary moment in Star Wars history was brought together well by the acting. I like this scene even more when it's spliced together with Alec Guinness's explanation to Luke in A New Hope. Good going, Ewan. Number 2.
We'll handle this.
I think we all can agree that Darth Maul was one of the coolest villains in Star Wars, period. From Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the climax of the movie begins with the good guys trying to take back Naboo, and in doing so, they're confronted by Darth Sidious's apprentice, Darth Maul. Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi engage Maul in battle, which leads to one of the best lightsaber fights in the whole series, and ends with a death that had long-lasting implications. More points have to go to John Williams once again. Duel of the Fates is the prequel's signature theme, and it's a great one. It's introduced here and really drives the action of this climax with an energy that was seldom seen in the 3 movies. The reveal of Maul says it all with no words needed. It's a shame that everything before this was so dull. This climax seemed like it was from another movie with how thrilling it was. The battle rages on to Qui-Gon's death and Obi-Wan's quick vengeance. It sucks that they killed Maul so early in the trilogy, but at least he lived on in the Clone Wars and Rebels animated series. This moment was close, but another just topped it. And the number 1 best Star Wars prequel moment is...
Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midi-chlorians to create life.
This is a legitimately really good scene. From Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine is talking to Anakin at an operatic performance that is indicative of some of the things he's speaking on. He meticulously jumps from topic to topic, digging into Anakin's mistrust of the Jedi Council and his insecurity about Padme's looming death. The latter is under the guise of his story about Darth Plagueis the Wise, and how he learned the power to stop people from dying. Many things are suggested here, including Anakin's conception and some of Palpatine's background. This is in line with Obi-Wan's talk with Count Dooku in Episode 2. The feeling is similar, but this is darker and more sinister because we know that Palpatine is getting to Anakin. It's Ian McDiarmid at his creepy, manipulative best. He is fantastic here.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
The suggestion that Palpatine or Plagueis created Anakin is an interesting one. I'm not at all a fan of the midichlorian stuff, but at least it is used in a clever way here. The story of Darth Plagueis gives us a small peek at what Palpatine's origins were, as he was likely the apprentice that killed his master.
Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
This is just a really strong scene featuring a great performance, and in my opinion, it's the best moment of the prequel trilogy. Over on my personal channel, I've been reviewing Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels, and will have a review up of The Last Jedi as soon as possible. So check it out for more Star Wars content. I want to hear what you guys think. What is your favorite Star Wars prequel moment? What do you want me to cover next on the show? Leave a comment and let me know. To keep in touch, like my Facebook page, facebook.com/AwesomeWalterB, or follow along on Twitter to take part in more polls about what may be covered in the future. Come back next week for a brand new episode of Top 5.